It's Monday on Daily Delivery. Michael Rand here, Patrick Reusse with me as usual. A lot to get to, Patrick. But first, how you doing?
I am doing fine.
Good. Did you watch a lot of football Sunday? I imagine you
Quite a
did.
bit. Quite a bit. I'm very depressed. I was a big Lions fan. I was all in. Dan Campbell's a moron. 24-10, kicked a field goal dummy to get ahead more than two touchdowns. I don't, if it's 20-10, go ahead, go for it. But you got a chance to get ahead two touchdowns. You got a chance to steal the big momentum that they're trying to gain in San Francisco. You come out, you're ahead 24-7. They come down, you hold them to a field goal. Okay, you come back, you kick another field goal, dummy. You go up 17. And once he did that, they screwed up the whole ball game after that. And you know what, that defense they have, you got to take some points, to get ahead two touchdowns. And I thought that decision changed the whole game for him. And Reynolds might have dropped a pass, but kick the field goal and go up to 17. And then, of course, you got a chance to tie the game late, and you don't take the field goal that time either. I don't have much trouble with that one, but not going up by more than two touchdowns is just moronic to me.
Yeah, it's a perfect launch point for kind of the whole go for it analytics debate, right? Because the numbers probably said go for it in that situation, and that's what they've been doing all year. But these are percentages, right? These are here's what you should do, you know, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know even know what the data says on that exact decision. Is 60% of the time, or this is the expected points. This over the long run. This is what you should do more often than not, right? This is the right decision. But
Not to me.
yes, well,
Anytime I can go up more than two touchdowns, I don't care what the numbers say. I
well,
don't go for it.
and
I,
that's
I
But that's the thing. Like a lot of times the expected points and things like that don't take into account game flow, don't take into account, oh my God, it's the NFC title game. We might be able to go to the Super Bowl. What happens if you miss this? What happens if something goes wrong here? What happened? Do you need to stabilize things after you've given up this, that, the other thing? Like it doesn't take into account the external factors in a game sometimes. I don't think. I don't believe it does. And that's where there's a difference. I think you're right. I think you are better served right there being a little bit more certain. Now it didn't work. Like if it works, hey, maybe he looks like a genius. They go on to win the game, but you leave yourself open for that kind of momentum swing, right? It's just as simple as that. The guy drops the pass, should have made the play. It would have been a good catch, not a great catch, but it's a pretty routine play for a good NFL wide receiver. If he makes the catch, they get a first down. Maybe they have to kick a field goal later, who knows? But yeah, that's the piece of it that's I think up for debate today is that the right thing in that situation? I don't think it is.
No, I don't. Second half, you dominated the first half. You can get your 17-point lead back. It's all about being ahead by more than two touchdowns and a field goal. I mean, they gotta have three scores to catch you then because the 2-point conversions don't do them any good.
Right.
So they gotta have three scores. Anytime you can put them in a situation where they have to score three times to beat you in a pro football game, you got to kick the field goal. That's especially when it's a cupcake. It's one that the guy's gonna make. So yeah, I thought it was stupid. He's got himself into that whole bravado thing, and boy, we always do it this way, and blah blah blah. Well, you blew it because once you gave them momentum there, then there was all over. And one thing you have to keep in mind is your defense semi stinks anyway. So
Yes.
no, you gotta get points. You got to get a lot of points, and you got to get them when you can. And right then, and hey, maybe somebody should tackle Brock Purdy when he comes running out of there in the pocket too. For goodness
Right.
sakes, where were those guys? I
I
mean,
don't know.
they made him look like they made him look like Michael Vick in his heyday. For goodness sakes, so. It was, yeah, it was a disaster, I would think. And I got news for those Lions fans. They're going to be back in that. not many of us are still going to be alive when they get back to the championship game. They're going to revert to being the Lions here pretty soon. Anybody who thinks this is the start of a big Lions dynasty is nuts. Not with Jared Goff as your quarterback, who's okay, but not this opportunity. You're still the Lions, and you got a GM who knows what he's doing now, which is different, but. This is not the start of some dynasty that, we have it's like the Packers who were that's all right. We blew a couple chances to
Right.
win the next Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, but it'll come sometime. Well, no, it won't. So,
Yeah.
I think that it's a big missed opportunity because not only, is it un-Lions like, but you had kind of that magical thing going, and you blew it by not going more than 2 touchdowns ahead and letting a 49ers team that is pretty good defensively, and obviously they get Debo back. That makes a heck of a difference. But Brock Purdy played good yesterday, but he shouldn't be beating you in a game like this. So you're gonna. Next time you're in a game like this, you're gonna have you're gonna be playing against a better quarterback too. So it's I don't
Yeah.
know, really a blown opportunity for the Lions.
Well, and Campbell even said that after the game. He was like, "We might not be back here. I hope we are. I think, if we could be, but these opportunities don't come along all the time, and you kind of understand that, yeah, they've got a good roster built, but every season is unique. I think the NFC was as wide open as it might ever be this year. I don't think there is a great team in the NFC. Yeah, I mean, the 49ers were very vulnerable in both of those games. They ended up winning. On the Purdy point, one of my favorite guys, Spencer Hall, tweeted after the game, Brock Purdy might be the guy to beat Mahomes. You cannot defeat a genius with a genius. You need a normal guy who was drafted in the seventh round, who overthrows 4 straight wide open attempts before scrambling at 10 miles an hour for a first down.
Actually, he's faster than I thought he
He
was. I'll
is.
give
He
him
is.
credit for that. He can run a little bit, and yeah, he played good the second half. There's no doubt
Hmm.
about it. I mean, he was awful last week, and he was awful in the first half. They were awful in the first half, but yeah, well, Lions, they're deep in their heart. Dan Cole and the crowd are, they
Oh, yeah.
nobody's surprised. They expected this. They
Right.
did. They expected this.
It was, yeah.
I didn't realize they're the only team that was around when they're the only team that's been around that's never made it. Is that right? They're the only one that's never made it. Or is it the only one I guess the only one that was around when it started
I think
that
that's
never
it.
made
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else hasn't made it? Not too many
Who else
teams.
hasn't made it to the Super Bowl? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good question. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Cleveland's never been there, right? With the expansion team, the Ravens
Oh, yeah,
went.
with the new team. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the
Right.
Ravens did, but Cleveland's as an entity, Cleveland's
Yeah.
never there. So
Yeah,
there's
there's
a few of
probably
them,
one
I
or two
guess.
others, but yeah, the Lions. It's very they got a kinship with the Vikings. It was
Oh,
very
yes.
Vikings-esque watching that self-destruct. Just watching like Vikings fans on social media, they were like, "This is very familiar, you guys.
Uh-huh.
This is very familiar feeling of how this is all."
I don't think our boys have ever blown a 17-point lead in a playoff game, though, have they? I don't
Mm,
think so. I don't think so.
no, not 17. They were up 13 against Atlanta in the NFC title game in '98, but I don't know about 17. That was a
Yeah, and that team was twice as good as this
they
Lions team, too.
they almost did, if not for a Minneapolis miracle. I will tell you that.
Yeah,
Would have
yeah, that was a terrible
that would have been a
terrible
terrible. It would
collapse
have,
against that was a collapse against a team that you're way better than, too.
yes,
So,
that'd have been what you
that
like to call a bad loss. That was a
Yeah,
bad. That would
that
be a
was a
bad. This
bad.
would be a bad loss.
That would be a bad loss. Meanwhile, Baltimore had a bad loss too. Lamar was bad, and Kansas City's playing great defense, but that one really surprised me. I thought
Yeah.
I didn't think the Chiefs' defense is. How'd they get good? I don't know. I mean, early in the year they weren't good. Their offense wasn't good. And how about our guy? Scantling making the catch that wins the game 2 weeks in a row after
Yeah.
dropping 700 balls in his career, dropping everything. 2 games in a row, he made the clinching catch. That was a heck of a catch going down to his back and winning the game for him. And good for Andy going right there. You don't want to punt it back in Baltimore and end up getting it with a bad loss. So they throw it down the field and get the first down and run out the clock. So
Yeah. Yeah, I guess surprising a bit. A 17-10. That would not be the score
no,
I would have predicted in that game. And it's, God, if you're Baltimore, you got to be just shaking your head. You're like, what more can you do during the year? They look like the one really dominant team all year, right? They're just beating everybody
mhm.
left and right with defense, offense, and he put up 10 in the title game. It's
Yeah.
just where do you go from there?
Lamar's going to feel sheepish when he wins the MVP award too, because
Yes.
the voting's already in. But he was terrible. And when he's bad, usually he can make plays with his legs. But they came up with a plan to kind of. I mean, he got out a couple of times, but not too often. They not only rushed him, but they kind of kept him in the pocket there where he couldn't. And you get him throwing off platform.
Off
He's a
platform.
little
Yes.
shaky. He's a little shaky off platform.
Yes.
So yeah, it's going to be well, all of a sudden. When's the last time they went? They only once
I
they,
think it
they got
was
they got an awful record right in the playoff games.
Ravens.
Yeah, in recent years, right?
Yeah, I think the last time they went was when they won against the Niners, right? The Harbaugh Bowl. That was back when they had Flacco, right?
Yeah, that's right. Flacco did win. Yeah,
Flacco
and
won
then
two, I
they
think. Yeah.
did he win twice with
I
them?
think he did.
Did he
Yeah,
win
I think they
twice with them?
won
Okay.
like
Who was coaching him? Who was
2013.
coaching him then? Harbaugh was coaching him the
Harbaugh was
first
the one
time, but
year,
how
and
about somebody
uh,
else? I don't know. I don't know.
I
I
can't
can't
remember
remember.
now.
I can't remember. But yeah, they've had some blown opportunities to say the least, and yeah, this is a this I wouldn't have given you $5 for the Chiefs' chances at
No.
midseason. 'Cause, I mean, this offense he's throwing to Kelsey though, man. Kelsey was what his first 11 targets. He caught 11 passes yesterday. I saw that on one of the graphics.
Yeah, it's
He
amazing.
it's he's we didn't get to see enough Taylor though because he's only I didn't know I didn't was totally focused, but they must have showed her after each touchdown. I saw her after one touchdown though, so it's I think it's true love.
It
I
might
think he's
be.
gonna. I think she likes that big lug. If she's walking down the street with him and somebody messes with her, he'll beat the crap out of him. That's good. He'll. Then he's got his brother as the best man at the wedding. That'll
Oh,
be a
it's crazy. He
that'll
was.
be a
Yeah.
party, man. That'll
Right?
be a party. So
Yeah.
anyway, Taylor will be at the Super Bowl, I
I
would
would think
imagine.
so. I would think so.
That's good. What's bigger, the Super Bowl or Taylor being at the Super
I
Bowl?
mean, I don't know. Can they
I,
get her to come down and do a song or two? Can they do that? I don't know.
well, I don't think Usher's gonna. Isn't
Uh,
Usher doing the halftime?
I can't remember.
I
Yeah,
think
I think
Usher's
that's
doing
right.
halftime. So whoever the hell he is, I never heard. He could come in and perform in my living room, and I wouldn't know who the hell he
What
was.
if he
So
did that right now? That'd be something else.
yeah,
The new
I wouldn't
daily
know.
delivery featuring Usher and Patrick Reusse today.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, you're in front of the TV there. Get out of the way with it.
hey, before we get off of football really quick, I should mention too the 49ers comeback win doesn't just break the hearts of Lions fans. It lifts the curse of Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you'd
Where
heard of
did
this.
this come from?
I don't know. I saw this last week, but someone has been tracking this. So two things about this. One, so just the fact of it, no team that has ever lost to Kirk Cousins during a regular season has ever then subsequently reached the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know like how rare that is. I don't know if you could do that for a lot of other quarterbacks of some note. I don't know that. So, but I know it's true because someone kind of went year by year and did it. So there is that fact. Now, San Francisco has lifted that curse because the Vikings and Kirk Cousins, of course, before he got hurt this year, beat San
Mhm.
Francisco at US Bank Stadium. So you get the fact of it, but you've also got Kirk Cousins is such a type of quarterback or is thought of in a certain way that someone has thought to do this, right? Like that's the interesting thing to me that someone has thought to see has a team that ever lost to Kirk Cousins went on to win the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody is tabulating this for any other quarterback. So I think it's a very unique Kirk Cousins stat to me.
That's a Rand Ball thing that I got
Yes,
to
it's going
tell
to be
you.
today. Yes, today for
Yeah, I
sure.
got to tell you, Ricey pays no attention to that. But
Yes, it's fine. It's fine.
that's good. I know, but I did see at halftime that everybody had Kirk going to the 49ers at halftime. So, and then Purdy came and took him to the Super
Yes.
Bowl. So we don't have to
Yes.
listen to that idiotic stuff
No.
that because Purdy's a mobile Kirk, basically. Doesn't He's not as accurate a passer, but he took him to the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
what the heck? I don't think they're going to go and get a 40 with their salary cap problems and the players they have to, the players they have to keep on that defense. I don't think they're going to go and get a $40 million quarterback
No.
it was mediocre. So
They've
anyway,
got 2 more years of a guy who was picked like last in the seventh round. They're paying him about $12. I don't think they're going to go get a different quarterback. He's just fine. He's actually pretty
no,
good. He's pretty good. He's he's
and
he's
they're
above average.
and they're trying to get out from under the Trey Lance mess that
Yes,
they gave up all
all
those
those
players
picks.
for him. Wonder
Yeah,
where do you think he's going to get a chance anywhere? Another chance
I don't
trade?
know. I
I
mean,
don't know.
who knows?
Third
It's
stringer in Dallas, right? Didn't he
right.
end up third stringer in
Well,
Dallas? Wow.
everybody wanted the Vikings to go get him this past, when San Francisco gave up on him. What the Dallas gave him a fourth round pick. Be intriguing right now if the Vikings had Trey Lance on their roster, wouldn't it? It would be kind of an interesting kind of
Athlete, yeah.
subplot to the offseason.
Yeah, yeah, it would. Well, you could get him if you want him, I suppose, for a
Yeah,
fifth round or something.
probably
But
true. That's probably true.
the biggest upset to me in the offseason, though, remains Mike McCarthy's coming back to Dallas.
Yes, I
I
can't
gave
believe that
him a
either.
zero chance when he walked off the field. But and Belichick not getting a job, I would
Yeah,
imagine that's all about power, huh? I would
yeah, must
imagine
be,
that,
or about like the modern NFL. Like, do they really
yeah,
want
that's
this guy?
do they want him and do they want to pay him $12 million when they can pay somebody else six or something
Yeah,
too, so but the Raheem Morris getting the job, what were the odds of that, for goodness
not
sakes?
good. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to
Wasn't he
happen.
a complete failure in Tampa? Wasn't he? I
Yes, he
don't
did
know.
not do well. I think it was like 19 and 31, something like that. It did not go
Yeah,
well for him. So
yeah. Well, but
maybe he's the
the NFL has created this situation, in just 20 years now, that you go and hire an assistant from somebody rather than go and hire a big name coach from someplace. So they save money on their coaches by
yeah,
going using that system. So
yeah,
each year there's what, five, six of them that are the candidates. And then if your team has a lousy year, you go from being a candidate last year to you're out of luck for the next 5 years.
right.
So
Yeah,
it's an interesting system that saves the owners money because
yes,
they got to save money because they're only making 250 million apiece profit every year. So.
right.
Grand Casino would like to take a moment and salute the true football fan. The passion, the hope, the anticipation, that incomparable feeling of winning. Grand Casino would also like to take a moment to remind you that you can find all that anticipation, thrill, and winning at Grand Casino. Grand Casino, let your story begin.
Oh man. Well, let's transition to a few other things before we go. First, Timberwolves, Patrick, they're not playing well. Like
They're
and
playing terrible.
they haven't for a while, right? Like
No,
they they had that long stretch against the good teams where they were kind of hitting a lull that it seemed like they found their way for a few games, but it kind of seems like anytime especially anytime Conley doesn't play, they are in trouble because they just don't have
Yeah.
enough adults on the court, even though this is a veteran team. They just don't have enough adults on
Mhm.
the court.
Yeah, it's they yeah, you're right. I mean, it's their low point totals are weird, man. They've had a lot of low point totals in this, and they're still like leading the league in defense, right?
Yeah, the defense has been
103
pretty
a
good.
game or something. But I don't know. Kyle Anderson is. I've been ripping him for a while here, but he's adding nothing. Whatever. Last year he was slow mo, and man, what are we doing with,
Yeah.
when with Cat wasn't playing, he was pretty good, but he's
Yes.
brutal. And McDaniel's, yeah, he's a defender, but he can sit down in the corner and make a shot once in a while, but he's he's overpaid, and I think Nye should play more. And Coach Finch here. I like Coach Finch, but let's try Miller or somebody like that to get a little dynamic player out there on the court that put some life into this team. He only plays 8 guys half the time, and I think he should try a couple other guys. Not Shake. I'm not campaigning for Shake,
No.
but he's got a couple of young guys. I mean, when things are going rotten, how about letting Luca Garza make a 3-pointer for six
Right.
minutes or something? How
Some
about
energy. Get an energy guy
yeah,
out there.
yeah, that's what they got. They have no energy right now, and he's sticking to the same short rotation. We used to rip Tibbs for the short rotation.
Yes,
This
we
guy's
did.
he's the same guy. This
Yeah.
guy's the same guy, coaching wise. He doesn't trust his bench either, and yeah, I mean that Troy Brown. What happened to him? He played like 5 games when somebody was hurt, made a bunch of threes, and did okay. Now he never gets off the bench. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they got to try some other things, and I don't know. Can't when you can have a 62-point game and everybody's mad at you, that's a bad sign. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well, Cat.
I
Yeah.
mean, he gets
Yeah.
62, and we're all mad at him because he hogged the ball and didn't pass the ball, and they threw it to him. They're just, he talked about maturity. We got to get our maturity. They're the same thunderheads
Yes.
that they were the last couple of weeks. And as you say, if Connolly's not out there, they got no chance. So
Yeah.
they're going to get beat 22 tonight.
Oklahoma City. Yeah.
Oklahoma City's going to name the score. Oklahoma City beat them up here, and Oklahoma City played terrible
Yeah.
and beat them up here. But Oklahoma City brings it every night, and these guys don't. So
Well,
they're gonna get it handed to them again tonight. That is my prediction.
there you go.
I
Take it
don't
to
know
the.
what's the number, 6, maybe 5 or
I don't know.
6.
It's in Oklahoma City, right? So it's probably,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
something like
gotta
that,
be
probably.
6.
They're both
Get in your
mad.
car and drive to St. Croix. There's a big profit opportunity tonight because these sticks are gonna get wiped off the map tonight. I got a hunch, like the last time they were there, right? Didn't they get beat
Yes. I think
20
so.
something last, the worst
And
loss of
then,
the year?
yes. And then the real panic's going to set in, right? Because they've kind
Yeah,
of like played with fire against some of these bad teams. And Oklahoma City's coming off a bad loss, too. They just lost to the Pistons. Wolves
yeah,
coming off a loss to obviously San Antonio the other night. They've been kind of playing with fire, squeezing out some of these other games, like a close win over
that was
Brooklyn, and
that game was impossible to lose to that
I know
rotten
it
San
was.
Antonio.
I
Well,
know.
but worse is Charlotte. Worse was
Yes.
Charlotte.
Oh yeah, Charlotte was
They
terrible.
lost.
Yes.
That team went around, turned around, and lost by 50 the next game they
We
played.
took. Hey,
The
they
team,
took a lot out of them. Is what they did.
yeah,
The Wolves took a lot out of them.
50. They lost by it was 130
I know.
to 80 or
I know.
something. Unbelievable.
I
Got
don't know what's
this.
going. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. It's just
I don't either.
it could just be a mid-year lull, right? Again, and
Yes.
Conley is this guy that you realize his value, especially because before he got here last year, it was the same thing. It was they weren't a mature team. There was D'Lo running the thing, and they just any given night you didn't know what kind of effort you were going to get against these bad teams. And every time Conley's off the floor right now, you still have kind of that same feeling. Not like last year, but it starts to creep up again.
And meanwhile, D'Lo's been on a heater out there for the Lakers. He's been playing
Yeah.
good.
Well, that means it's going to be
And
what eight means
I
it'll
don't
be
want
about
him
eight
back.
games of him being bad now. It means it'll be about eight
Yeah,
more games of him being bad now. That's how he
yeah,
was.
I know. I don't want him back. But the Lakers are actually winning some games. I don't know. When they were playing bad about a month ago, I predicted a 6 seed, and people got mad at me. I'm 5, 6 seed. I'm still in there. I'm still a 5, 6 seed on this team. I don't like this team lately. They don't have depth. They still got Cat. They still got Ant screwing up anything he can down the stretch. I don't know. It's been fun, but they're going to probably be a 500 team the second half of the schedule after being the best team. What were they? 31 and 10.
31 and 10.
31 and 10. They'll be 21 and 20. Maybe not that good. They're going to be 500 the second half. That's my prediction.
Oh, they have an easy second half schedule, but they've already
Oh,
used
so
up a
what?
lot.
They've
I
already
know, I
showed you
know.
that.
And they've already used up a lot of that equity because a lot of those easy games have happened already, and they did win the majority of them, but it's the ones they lost that stick with you, and even the way they won some of the ones that they did win that sticks with you too. I don't know. I think people are for as bad as the Wolves have been in their history, these feel like different types of problems, but it's disappointing to see how this is going right now, if just in terms of where it started, because they were playing really good basketball for 40, 35 to 40 games, and just this isn't the same thing that they were starting out
Don't,
with.
if you're a Wolves fan, don't be afraid to panic. Because
They know how to
this is
do
the
that.
Wolves. They are. You know, think of the Wolves season as the Lions' second half. That's what I should do. First half, you Sunday. It's the same. That was a mini version of the Wolves yesterday. Great first half. Uh, Screwing it up the second half. That's what I see right now. And Finchie, said they were disgusting, and then he had to kind of retrace his steps last week because after the disgusting loss and what Cat got 62,
Yeah.
he kind of had to backtrack. You could tell that Connolly or somebody had talked to him and said, you might want to back off on this. Some of the
Yeah.
boys didn't like that or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's always NBA. One of the great things about the NBA is that the characters are so big because they're so important. And each team's got 3 or 4 characters on it, and it's got drama. It's got great drama, personalities, and stuff like that. And we haven't had drama around here because
No.
we knew that it wasn't going to lead to any place. Now this year there was hope, but now they're starting to disappoint you again.
Yep. Speaking of disappointment, I had Sarah McClellan on the show last week. That wasn't the disappointment. She was great, but we talked about the Wild and kind of where they were at. They had won 3 in a row, 4 of 5. And it was like, okay, they got these 2 games before the All-Star break. They've got Nashville, Anaheim. Nashville was, the team they were chasing in the standings, real opportunity. Anaheim's terrible. It's like, win these 2 games, get yourself set up for any kind of possibility the second half of the year, post break. Lose both those games, Patrick. They put it in them. They're just not good, right?
They didn't get the courtesy point either,
No, neither
either of
one.
those games. They didn't go to overtime and lose. They lost flat out to the Ducks.
Yes.
And that was brutal. That was terrible. It was hockey day in Minnesota.
Hockey day, and you lose.
Celebrate? You'd lose to Anaheim with letting them have. You were ahead of them 2-1, and
Yeah.
it was 2-1, right? 2-1.
Both those games they had.
Yeah.
They had went in with third period leads. It was first and second times all year they had gone into a third period with a lead and hadn't gotten at least a point, I think.
Yeah, they're. I mean, it's with the free points that are available in the NHL, with the losing and getting a point. It's hard to move up in the standings, especially when you're not very good.
Yeah, there's also that.
I think Eck has turned into a great player, Eriksson Ek, and You still got Kaprizov, but there's not much else. And now Spurgeon's gone for the year.
Yeah.
They were bad on defense before
Yes.
the year started, and they just don't have established defenders. And our guy Brock kind of gave up the winning goal the other day, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he? Brock made a bad play, but he's been terrific, and
Yes.
that's kind of tried to save him, but I don't know. They're just not. Didn't everybody see this coming?
I think so.
Everybody saw this coming. Yeah. Well, the start of the year with the defensemen were hurt, and the whining about the cap problem, and then Gainey. What am I talking about? Guerin signs all these guys, these mediocre guys, to no trade contracts.
Right.
I wonder what his situation is. You think I think Craig has had the quick trigger in the past. So, Guerin's good for this year, but I suppose they're going to keep him around and give him a chance with a full cap, too. So once he gets out from under the contract.
Yeah.
But he brought those on himself, too.
He did, although here's the thing.
It would have cost you either way.
Yeah, and Parisi he wasn't even playing this year until I think Colorado signed him a couple of days ago.
Yeah, right.
He was just sitting out now.
He's 39, right?
Yes, he's 39. Suter still had some left in the tank, right? He's still having an okay year, I think. I just haven't paid that much attention. But yeah, you're paying those guys either way. So there's that we forget about. But yeah, they've got one more year of that though. They've got one more year of the jail until
these guys saved the franchise. So stop thinking about it, people. They get upset. They hadn't signed them in 2012. They would have had 10,000 people a game in there when they came back from the lockout, because the ticket sales were bottoming out. People were upset and they're bored by them. And then they signed those two guys on July 4th of 2012, and they pretty much sold out for about the next 10 years. So anyone complaining about those two contracts is an idiot. So
Suter still playing for the Stars, playing about 19 minutes a game now, which is less than he used to, but he's 39 too.
30, yeah. He beat us last year in the playoffs, didn't he? Was the last? Yeah, they took us out in 5 games.
So he's still,
I don't know. It's going to be a while. They keep talking about the prospects they have. We got 3 or 4 great prospects. Well, we'll find out. Once they get there, you don't have Bedard. That's we know that. Right. So
right.
We'll find out. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see if attendance waivers here now. They've got the big season ticket. They're asking you for season ticket money already for next year.
So are the Wolves. Yeah, I think the Wolves, those renewals just went out too.
What's wrong with you people? I'd say no. Wait till the season's over. I don't want to. In both instances, if you don't renew now, they're going to be begging. They're going to be on the phone calling you up, begging you to come back. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's there's not much excitement over there. That's for sure. Boy, the other thing that happened, Gopher women's basketball team, Brown, heard her foot, twisted her ankle, and they lost that game. That'd be a blow from an improved program. And the Gopher men's team, they won a road game at Penn
State.
State.
At Penn State, came back from 16 down, right?
Out of nowhere, they won that game, and they were, nobody's coming to their games, but they're better than they were. So that's a little distraction this winter.
Royal Credit Union's smart checking accounts offer no monthly fees and no minimum balance. Enjoy financial freedom when you open your Royal Credit Union smart checking account online at rcu.org/go-checking. Insured by NCUA.
TwinsFest was a distraction too, right? Let's finish with that. Twins, they had everybody here. You get to see, Royce Lewis, Byron Buxton saying, "Hey, center field, back in center field." We'll see about that. We'll see, as always. With
whoever did the therapy on the knee, the surgeon or whatever they did, if that works, that guy we should have a parade for him. But Joe came back Saturday, and they were lined up to get in the door. down to Target Center, right? They had him in
Oh,
a
wow.
single
Yeah.
line like 3 hours beforehand. And they were charging $60 for Joe's autograph, not because of him, but they wanted to raise money for the Twins Community Fund. And apparently hundreds of people were coming up to Joe and congratulating him. And that I think we can get these Star Tribune commenters that are still ripping Joe and some social media ripping Joe, but as a whole, I think the Twins fan base is very happy for Joe to be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And it's well earned, right? Like it's kind of amazing. He's what? He's is he 40 right now? Like
40
usually
right now, yeah, he was 35 when he retired. Yeah.
so I think he'll be 40, 41 pretty soon, but it's a young
Now
age to be.
April, his
Yeah,
birthday's April, late
April 2
19th
or
or something.
yeah, yeah. He'll be he'll be 41 soon, but that's a young age to be a Hall of Famer. I don't imagine there was
Yeah, it is.
too many
I'm
more Hall of
wondering.
Famers at his age.
I'll have to ask him out there if that's the youngest to be inducted.
I think maybe it was
It's got to be
Koufax was the
among the
youngest. I think maybe
Koufax,
Koufax
yeah,
was younger, but not many
yeah.
others, I wouldn't think, because
No,
to be
it is a interesting. People are saying, well, Yogi Berra had to wait 3 years. Yes, it was a different voting group.
yes,
So,
different voting
ladies and
group.
gentlemen, it's not Joe's fault that the voting group has changed and become more forgiving, should I say? I mean, have standards that aren't unreasonable. It took
Yes,
Harmon. If Harmon had come around now, he would have been a first ballot
yes,
Hall of Famer. Okay, so just get that through your heads, folks. So
yeah,
that
yep,
the voting group has changed, and the younger group. And I said all along, as the revealers were out there, and Joe was running over 80%, that it will be a lot closer when us crusty old guys' ballots start getting counted, because we don't vote for as many people, and there's guys on there that have that first year,
yep,
and that there's a threshold that you have to achieve to get in the first year. And I don't have that threshold. I don't care. I
right,
vote for a guy in the first year, but I do also not vote for 10 guys a year. I voted for a few as 4 at times,
yeah,
and six or 7. So I don't vote for 10. One thing is I didn't vote for the steroid guys. So
yep,
that was a lot of the younger people did vote for the steroid guys. And I'm not complaining about guys voting different, but you have 385 valid voters. You're going to have a cross section of opinions on how
yes,
to go about doing it. And that's what makes it great, because they need to get 75%. That is a stout figure to
yes.
attain in the Hall of Fame. So
When the 76.1 was revealed last Tuesday, I guess we haven't talked about that yet, but I did think about the story you told last Monday on the show where you were worried that your ballot wasn't going to get there in
yes,
time because he only made it by 4 votes. I was like, oh boy, Patrick's vote. It wasn't
he
it
got
wasn't the
he got it.
clincher, but man, it was every
They
vote
got it
counted.
on they got it on the last day of
Yes.
Friday morning. But I think they had a mailbox there that you sent it to, a PO box, and I don't think anybody was checking it for a week. That was the problem. So I don't. Everybody thought the ballots were in, so I don't think anybody went and looked.
Jeez.
So the ballot was in there, but my ballot did get counted. So
Yes.
otherwise, Joe would have won by 3. So
Yes. Yes. Well,
so
oh,
anyway,
well, this year's team,
good
I
for
don't know.
him.
They need to. They haven't done anything yet, and they a lot
No,
of times they don't until around now. So it's not like you got to panic. They got 2 months till they play the games, but just kind of a weird off season, right? Like they had all this
yeah,
momentum from
yeah,
playoffs. Everybody loves Royce Lewis for good reason, but you lose Sonny Gray, you lose the guys they've lost. Like the pitching was the thing last year, and they just don't have the
yeah.
same pitching they had.
Yeah, and they were hoping to trade Polanco and Kepler, or at least one of them. And there's no market out there. They're not alone in doing nothing here. I mean, they've
Yes.
done less than everybody else, but there's a lot of free agents. I mean, that Jordan Montgomery's still out there looking for a huge amount of money. I talked to Falvey. I said, "What's with that guy?" I said, "How could he turn down Texas?" And he said, "Boris wants huge money for
Hmm.
him." Jordan Montgomery. And then there's a guy that's a 2-month wonder. I wouldn't bring him in, for a huge amount of money. He helped them win the World Series. Okay, beautiful. But there's a lot of guys still out there waiting to sign. And a lot of the reason for the slow thing is regional TV.
Yes.
Even Texas said that we can't afford Jordan Montgomery. We won the World Series with him, and we can't afford him because they lost their regional TV deal too.
A lot of wait and see
It'll
right
be
now.
interesting. Sounds like all of a sudden Valley's got the clout because they got Amazon as a partner.
Right. Kind of went.
I got a hunch the Twins will end up back with them but with better streaming.
Yeah, at least for a year.
Options,
At least for a year. I think that's what it's going to be. It's getting late. It's getting late for that. Anything else?
I went to the Diamond Awards on Thursday, and we found out the loss of a TV partner can be rather dramatic because there was no stay on schedule thing.
Oh no!
It's unproduced. 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Oh, we're back to the old days. I remember
Last year it's about an hour and a half. Right?
Yeah, we were back to the old days of the Diamond Awards. It was like that, and I've known you to get antsy in the press box during the national anthem, where you were getting antsy at the Diamond Awards at the
I
pace.
got so antsy, I got up and left and went and grabbed an Uber and went home. So, it was. I'm as anti-Parkinson's as the next guy, okay? But the doctor that they had from the University of Minnesota, who seemed to be a very sharp guy, went for 20 minutes, and then they had a video that was 8 or 9 minutes that said the same things that the doctor said in the 20-minute speech. So what I'm saying is, if we would have BSN there, somebody would have been giving him the wrap-up signal, but nobody was giving him the wrap-up signal. So we needed a TV. We needed a TV. And that whole system of sitting on the couch and talking to a player and asking him 2 powder puff questions is stupid. They should have me produce the thing.
This would be great. I would love to see the Reusse produced Diamond Awards.
The guy comes up, gets his award, and he talks for a minute, and then he's gone. Right? Have him tell us something.
Then he leaves, and you rip him, and then it's over.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, you take a little shot at him, and that's over. Yeah. I wrote a column about my attempt to fill in.
I saw that.
Joe
That was fun.
That was. I knew I was in trouble from the moment I walked in there, and there were 280 people dressed up, and I had no material, so I just started insulting people, and that didn't work too well either. So anyway, stuff happens, It was free, so they got what they deserved for free.
Got what they paid for.
Actually, the guy did give me a gift card to Hoyt, so I
nice.
saw that in the bag, so I didn't know about that. So anyway, that was a big flop, but so what?
Oh.
It ain't, as Willie Davis said when he dropped fly balls 50 years ago in the World Series, if it ain't my life and it ain't my wife, why worry?
That's fantastic. Oh, that's as good a place to end as any, Patrick. Appreciate it as always. When we check in next week, you'll be in somewhere warmer, right?
I'll be in Florida. Yeah, I'm going to go down for a month and do some spring training, and I'm not a big Florida fan anymore, but spring training's there, and that's always good. So I missed last year I missed the last 2 years, and I had gone to 44 straight or something like that. So anyway, I kind of missed it, even though it's not what it used to be. So
as
far as access, you used to just wander in and talk to anybody you wanted to. It doesn't quite work that way anymore.
All right, well, enjoy. Thanks, Patrick. We'll talk to you later.
All righty. Dan Campbell, you should be ashamed of yourself. Goodbye.